I'm Dr. Ryan DeBell from The Movement Fix. Welcome back to Movement Fix Monday. We're on Maui, the northernmost tip. We're here to see this blowhole, which is like, I think over there or something. But anyways, what we're gonna talk about this week is a way how to prepare your hips for the demands of deadlifting. So I'm gonna show you 3 or 4 drills that you can use before deadlifting to get your hips prepped to warm up the muscles around your hip joint that stabilize and control the motion in the hip joint. And we're gonna do that by starting on the ground, doing non-weight bearing drills, and then we're gonna move into weight bearing drills. So the first thing we're gonna do is a straight leg raise drill, which I've shown in many videos, but it fits well with preparing for deadlift specifically. So I'm gonna go over that, then I'll show you these hip circles, and then we're gonna do loaded hip circles, and then we'll either do a banded pull through or we'll do an RDL as a way to get ready for the load of the actual lift of a deadlift. So the first thing is these, let me move these like lava rocks, is we're gonna do these straight leg raises. And for that, this one leg will be bent and one leg's gonna be straight. You're gonna kind of stiffen your abdomen, and I'm just gonna go 10 reps back and forth like this for the straight leg raise at about this speed. And then as soon as I do the 10 reps, I'm gonna go into what's called a circle, or a hip circle. And the reason I'm doing that for deadlifting is because there's actually a lot of demand on the adductors as well as in the abductors of the hip. And by doing these circles, you're gonna warm up those muscles to prepare, especially if you're gonna go sumo or any other style of deadlift. You wanna have this prepared. So for the circle, instead of just going up and down like this, you're gonna go up, you're gonna go out to the side, trying to keep this where it is, and then circle around. And we're gonna go 5 reps each direction of the circle. So I'd go 5 that way, and then 5 this way. And it's not about going as far as you can during these circles. It's about going controlled in these circles. So I'm sure my back is just dirty from this, but that's all good. Then what we're gonna do is take that same kind of motion, but do it in a closed chain weight bearing environment. So that was open chain because your leg's up in the air moving around in space. And this is closed chain because now what is this bug? Because your leg is planted on the ground. So this is kind of a combination of doing an RDL and a single leg deadlift, I should say, and a hip airplane. So I'm gonna do 5 or so reps of these. This is a little bit more feel-based because it can get pretty fatiguing and balance may be an issue, in which case you should use a dowel for support. But what you're gonna do is this: go on one leg, hinge forward like this, turn open, and then as you're turned open, then stand up. You're gonna stay opened, hinge back this way again, and then close down, and then come back up. So that would be 1. I'll show another rep here for 2. Open, come up, go back down, close. That would be 2. And even after doing a couple of these, you can really start to feel a lot of your hip musculature deep in there, really working hard. And there's definitely some mobility requirements in the hamstring as well as the adductors, and you can feel it deep in the hip, getting you prepared for the demands of the deadlift. And then lastly, so I do 5 reps of those or more each leg, again, feel-based, because you might find that the limitation's your foot or your calf. And in that case, you don't wanna, this isn't a foot fatiguing drill. That's not the intention of this drill, is to get your hip prepared for a deadlift. So if you need to use a dowel, do that, but try to use the hip as much as possible. Then what you can do after you do 5 reps of that each leg is do either an RDL, which would just be like a stiff-ish legged deadlift. So you'd have the barbell here, go down to as far as you can, keeping your back flat, and just doing 5 or so RDLs. Or another great drill is called a pull through, and I think I have a band over here, right, in this bag. So we'll use a band. Now I wouldn't use one of these bands, I would use one of those like blue or red jump stretch bands. I wonder if I can get this rock on this. Let's see if I can do this. So I would take the band, obviously this is easier to do with a rig. So you attach, oh my gosh, there's so many bugs under there. So you would attach the band to like the rig, you'd get it here, and then you'd hinge down, pull up through, hinge down, pull up through, and you do that for like, that didn't work out that well, but you get the idea. But we would do that for 5 or 10 reps. I'll put another link to a video showing that. And then I would do that for maybe 3 or 4 rounds of that total thing I just showed you, and then I would go into the deadlift as the working sets. So that's what I got for you guys this week on Move It Fix Monday, how to prep your hips for a deadlift. I'll see you guys next week.